Visceral fat is the bad fat that wraps around your vital organs, and if you don't lose it, you could risk long-term health issues such as diabetes and heart attacks. However, this wasn't the case for Alan. After 12 weeks of working with me, he lost 10 kilos of visceral fat and felt in the best shape of his life. And he didn't do it by exercising more and eating less. I'll explain in this video step by step how he lost all that bad visceral fat and got toned, healthy and in the best shape of his life. Now, Alan was working in events. He would eat anything just to fill his stomach when he was doing an event. An event could last several days, and sometimes it would go into the evening, late till about 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning. Now, as you can imagine, Alan, because he was running the events, didn't have much time to prepare his own food. So he would just eat anything just to fill his stomach and get some energy in, as he felt like he wanted to keep going for his event. So as you can imagine, he just ended up accumulating visceral belly fat that after many years of doing long, arduous, late night events, his belly fat accumulated to the point that he looked in the mirror and he didn't recognize himself anymore. He didn't like who he'd become. He didn't like how his shape had changed over the years. Now, Alan had tried everything to lose visceral belly fat. He tried to run more, do more exercise, go to the gym, lift weights. He tried to eat better by restricting his calories, eating much less food, fasting. Nothing ever worked though. Alan just could not seem to shift the visceral belly fat. So the first step to tackle visceral belly fat, I felt, was to get Alan into a calorie deficit. So I got him to follow a simple, structured meal plan that enabled him to go into a calorie deficit. Now, this wasn't easy for him though around his lifestyle of events, because he was sometimes go 12 hours a day and not really been able to eat a proper meal. So to follow a meal plan, he found quite tricky actually, but he was able to do it. What he did was batch prepped his food to ensure that he was not having to prepare all of the time his meals. He had food in his fridge. He took food to work with him. He ate food during the evenings when he would normally order food out or eat food at his events. And he made sure that he had the right balance of food groups all of the time. He was eating plenty of protein, which I set him a protein target. He was eating moderate amount of carbs, and the healthy carbs that he was eating, plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole food carbs, such as lentils and rice and chickpeas. And he was reducing the amount of unhealthy snacks he was eating, because he was quite a big snacker. And that's what kept him sort of energized when he was doing his events. He was eating plenty of unhealthy snacks. And this just like cookies and chocolate and foods that just kept him going, but he didn't fill him up because they had no satiety. So he ate more high volume foods, plenty of vegetables, plenty of fruits, whole food protein foods, whole food carbohydrates, plenty of healthy fats such as avocado, fish, omega-3 fish oils, plenty of healthy fats. And he just felt all round better as he was preparing his food. He had a plan to follow and he was feeling really good. Now, that allowed him to start losing visceral belly fat, so he was starting to chip away at it, and week by week he was losing fat and he was looking more toned, and I could see he was visibly losing fat and his weight was going down. He was losing weight consistently and he was feeling great. So I could see that the calorie deficit, along with his efforts to prepare his food, have structured balanced meals, was really helping him lose visceral belly fat. So that the nutrition part really played a huge role in helping Alan lose visceral belly fat, particularly the calorie deficit that I set him and his effort to stick to that calorie deficit. If you're enjoying this type of transformational story, I put out videos every Sunday and Wednesday. So feel free to hit the subscribe button, and I talk about my own personal journey and also the clients that I help and get them in great shape. Now, with the training and exercise side of things, what he did was he was quite active anyway. He was moving quite a bit in his events, so that was never really a big issue for him, his movements. He'd always gone to the gym, he'd tried to do classes, spinning, all types of exercises to lose the visceral belly fat, and like I said, nothing ever worked. So his exercise was pretty much something he'd always done. Now, he wasn't doing much proper strength training, and he wasn't structured in a way where he'd go to the gym, he'd know what to do exactly, what exercises to do, how to do them, what order, etc. So what I did was I created him a training plan, 3 days per week, strength training focused, which would help him build muscle and try to help his muscles become more sensitive to carbohydrates. Because he's gaining visceral fat, he was more insulin resistant. He wasn't utilizing the carbohydrates and sugars properly, so they was getting stored as excess belly fat. So what I did was made sure that he's doing enough strength training, and he actually really enjoyed it, and he pushed himself every week. He'd turn up to the gym and he'd deadlift, he'd squat, he'd bench press, he'd do rows and pull-ups, and he was able to get stronger and build muscle, and this enabled him to even shred fat much faster, the visceral fat that he'd built up. And within literally 12 weeks, he'd lost 10 kilos and he'd got toned and built strength. And he was in the best shape of his life. He did a photo shoot and he felt amazing. He told me, I feel great, I feel healthy, and I want to maintain this for the rest of my life because I feel so good doing it. So there you have Alan's story. He proved that with the right calorie deficit, attention to his food, better organisation with his exercise, but again, not going too extreme, he can lose visceral belly fat, the bad fat that was wrapping around his vital organs and just making him sick. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please feel free to leave a comment, and I wish you all the best of luck with your journey. I hope it all works out for you. Have a great day. Bye for now.